The ongoing history of protest songs. Clap your hands and sing along. So this is CJ Baker, and I recently did a Ramones deep dive where I listened to all 14 studio albums by the Ramones. And in connection with this, I made a guest appearance on an album making video for the Joe Opinionated YouTube channel. So you feel free to check out that video as well. But even before I did the deep dive, I was already a huge fan, and I was well aware of their considerable influence. But one aspect of the band that sometimes gets overlooked, which I developed more of an appreciation for, is the band's social awareness. So both Dee Dee and Joey have composed some insightful social commentary. So here's a sampling of 10 of these tunes that we're going to discuss in this video. But before we do so, if you want me to keep making these videos, please like and subscribe and click on that notification button so you don't miss future videos. So the first song we're going to discuss is Havana Affair from 1976. So this is from the band's landmark self-titled debut. And even though it's not explicitly a protest song, the tune could be considered a commentary on the Cuban Missile Crisis and American interventionism during the Cold War. So one of the tactics that the US used was employing Cuban citizens to engage in espionage. So the song's protagonist is a Cuban man who became a CIA spy. So the next song we're going to discuss, also off their self-titled debut, is Today Your Love, Tomorrow the World. So this is probably the band's most controversial and provocative tune. And also in the video I did with on the Joe Opinionated YouTube channel, I intentionally did not bring this song up because I thought if I did, I would need to spend a bit of time discussing the context of it. And I didn't think Joe necessarily wanted me to go into that direction. But yeah, Dee Dee Ramone, he wrote the lyrics partially based on his experiences growing up in Germany. So basically, his father was a US soldier and his mother was German. And Dee Dee was buried growing up. And he was buried basically on two different occasions. He was buried as a child in Germany because of his American heritage. But when he moved to the States, he was also buried because of his German heritage. But also as a child, Dee Dee was fascinated with Nazi memorabilia that he would discover in the rubble. So the actual song was sung from the perspective of a member of Hitler's youth, and the original version of the song, which they would perform live, and an uncensored version has since been released. But the original version opened with the line, "I'm a Nazi baby," but they changed the lyric due to pressure from their Sire record label boss, Seymour Stein, who also happened to be Jewish. But Stein was worried that the lyrics would be offensive to listeners. So concerning the song, the lyrics were sung by Joey Ramone, who was a left-leaning Jew who was not afraid to speak up against fascism, which we are going to discuss later on in this list. So the fact that he felt comfortable singing the lyrics would indicate that he most likely understood it to be satire. Also, the lyrics could be considered a critique of the indoctrination that takes place within regimes and how dangerous ideologies appeal to the vulnerable. So yeah, so it's good to keep the song in context of being a satire. So the next song we're going to discuss is Commando, released in 1977. So this is from the sophomore album, Leave Home, and this satirical tune critiques military involvement and societal norms, especially in the context of the Vietnam War. And it includes the lyrics, they do their best, they do what they can, they get them ready for Vietnam. And even that lyric alludes to the fact that during the Vietnam War, soldiers weren't always given a lot of preparation time. And on top of that, they were sometimes, or many times, they were drafted, and the individuals drafted may not have even necessarily wanted to be there, and they may not have even necessarily understood why the U.S. was at war or even agreed with the fact that the U.S. was at war. And then on top of that, they had little time to prepare for what was in store for them. But also the lyrics that provide commentary on the absurdity of the war. So it includes some irrelevant lyrics with the four rules that were mentioned. So the first rule is the laws of Germany. The second rule is be nice to mommy. Third rule is don't talk to commies. And the fourth rule is eat pork salami. So yeah, it was some humorous satire there as well. But it also showed, because the band sometimes, especially Rihanna, had reputation for their dumb and I guess sometimes juvenile lyrics, but quite often there was a level of intelligence here. And this is a song that's kind of shows both sides. Like there was some absurd, silly lyrics, but there was some intelligent satire as well. But even with the dumb lyrics, there was always a level of intelligence to them, which I think sometimes does get overlooked there. So we're now going to go to our next song, High Risk Insurance, released in 1980. So this is the closing track from their Phil Spector produced fourth album, End of the Century. So the song is a galvanizing anthem of perseverance and non-conformity. It even includes the lyrics, you got to fight to stay independent. And it is also the line, got no love for the enemy nation, that could work both on a metaphorical level and in a broader social political context. So the next song we're going to discuss, which is basically one of my favorite Ramones songs. So it's the KKK Took My Baby Away, released in 1981. So this catchy tune about the KKK kidnapping the protagonist's girlfriend appears on their album, Pleasant Dreams. So there's a couple of conflicting stories concerning the origins of the song. So one of which was that Joey Ramone directed to Johnny Ramone, who often would make fun of Joey for being Jewish. But on top of that, Johnny stole Joey's girlfriend. So that's one report. But the other story is that Joey dated a black woman, but she broke it off because her parents objected to her dating a Jewish person. But either way, the song could be viewed as an anti-racist tune. So the next song we're going to discuss is I'm Not Afraid of Life, released in 1984. So from the album Too Tough to Die, the song is about fighting to stay optimistic despite all the troubles in the world. So the lyrics express concerns over nuclear annihilation and address other issues such as poverty and homelessness. And then the next song, also from 1984 and Too Tough to Die, is Planet Earth 1988. So this is similar to I'm Not Afraid of Life, but it's even more explicitly political. So the tune expresses the Cold War anxiety that was prevalent at the time. It's also good to note that a lot of songs released in the 80s was heavily influenced by this Cold War anxiety. And there was actually a number of songs, and even a number of songs, like I have a list on my website of the 100 best protest songs of the 80s, and also have like a video of 25 of the best protest songs of the 80s. It's actually a theme that regularly came up. So concerns, Cold War anxiety, and concerns of nuclear annihilation. So this song also expresses those themes. And the lyrics also address racism, unemployment, and income inequality. So the next song we're going to discuss is Bonzo Goes to Bitburg, released in 1985. So this anti-Reagan protest song was initially released as a UK single in June 1985 with the title Bonzo Goes to Bitburg. It was renamed My Brain is Hanging Upside Down with Bonzo Goes to Bitburg in parenthesis when it appeared on the band's 1986 album, Animal Boy. So one of the band's more direct political tunes, the lyrics protest then U.S. President Ronald Reagan's visit to Bitburg Military Cemetery in Germany, which included grave sites of Nazi soldiers. So Joey, as a Jew, was particularly offended by this. But interestingly, Johnny, so in contrast, Johnny was a devout Republican and Reagan supporter, and he didn't want to record the song. So as a compromise, the band added My Brain is Hanging Upside Down to the title. So it's definitely more catchy than many protest tunes, but the sing-along nature of the song does not take away from the lyrical bite of the message. So the next song we're going to discuss is Censorship, released in 1992. So this anti-censorship song opens the album Mondo Bizarro. So the lyrics specifically address Al Gore's wife, Tipper, who spearheaded the Parents Music Resource Center, PMRC, efforts to place parental advisory labels on albums. So the lyrics make direct reference to both Ozzy Osbourne and Frank Zappa, so both who were targets of the censorship efforts. And Zappa also notably testified during the Senate hearing, but along with Representative Zappa and Ozzy, the lyrics also highlight that instead of focusing on censoring the freedom of speech of musicians, politicians should be focusing on real issues such as the economy, homelessness, and the environment. So the last song we're going to discuss, also off Mondo Bizarro, so Poison Heart. So this song was written by D.D. Ramone, who at this point already left the band, but he sold the rights to the song to the band for bail money. So the song isn't necessarily a direct protest song, but it's a socially conscious song written in response to the plight of the world. And it also addresses issues such as homelessness. So it includes the powerful lyric, making friends with a homeless, torn up man. He just kind of smiles. It really shakes me up. So it's a really good reflection of the climate of the time that still really resonates now. So this concludes the list. So what did you think of this list of songs? Are you aware of any other Ramone protest songs? Or do you even have any other favorite Ramone songs? So you can comment about that in the comments as well. You can share your general thoughts about the band too. And like I said, you can also feel free to watch the video that I did with Joe Opinionated on his channel. So I'll leave a link for that. And also, this video is based on a list, like an article that I previously published on my website, ongoing history of protest songs.com. So you can check out that article and you can check out the website in general. And once again, if you want me to keep making videos, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. So thanks for watching and please stay safe. So this is CJ Baker, and I recently did a Ramones deep dive where I listened to all 14 of their studio, blah, 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 already going out the rails. Going half the whales like a crazy trade, yeah, yeah, yeah.